Researchers say the floating barrier in the Rio Grande currently isn't floating at all. It's grounded in soil in the middle of the river, and that could have major impacts on surrounding land and the ongoing court battle. The I-Team's Jordan Elder joins us from Eagle Pass with early results from the research and images you'll see exclusively on News 4 San Antonio. It's been nearly a year since the state of Texas installed a string of buoys much like these into the Rio Grande. Today, a researcher gave us the first insights into their long-term impacts on this ecosystem.
If you go to the buoys today, you'll see a lot of vegetation growing within the buoys. You see a lot of branches, right? Trees that are stuck up against the buoy.
It's a far cry from what the floating barrier looked like before. Dr. Adriana Martinez is studying how and why this is happening. She's a river scientist that grew up in Eagle Pass, now returning to get samples from the river she grew up next to.
They are not spinning in any way. They're completely lodged there, right? They now have tree branches and trees stuck in them. There's only a few that are floating way at the end of the buoy line, but for the most part, they're immovable right now.
The state installed the 1,000-foot barrier to deter migrants from crossing in dangerous waters. Do you think they're operating the way that they were intended to?
They're really not doing what they were meant to do. However, they are causing significant damage to the river.
On Monday, Martinez sampled the water, the soil, and the plants that now surround the buoys. She's also looking into how they impact the river flow.
Anytime you put anything in the middle of a river, you're going to slow the water down there. And when you slow water down, then sediment deposits. And that's exactly what I saw today.
Check out this test she ran. You can see Martinez releasing green dye near the buoys to see how the water flows around them. That dye swings predominantly to the U.S. side of the river. She says the barrier is becoming its own little island, diverting that water.
It's a violation of international treaties. We're not allowed to move the water in any significant way in the channel.
Jesse Fuentes runs a kayaking business along the Rio Grande.
It's the beginnings of an island.
He says what's happening with the buoys is concerning.
They're hurting the ecosystem, and a lot of people don't see it. I do, because I take people on the river. They weren't built for this Texas heat. They weren't built to be collecting sediment and debris.
Martinez says these changes are happening much faster than she predicted they would. And if the state eventually adds more buoys,
it's likely to have the same effect, right? Slowing down that water, causing deposition.
We asked the governor's office if Texas has done any environmental testing on the buoys, but have not received a response. Meanwhile, courts are still trying to decide if they can stay in the water or if they should be removed as the case continues. Martinez says she wants to finish this research and quickly get it to state and local leaders.
I hope to publish it, but more than that, I really want to let people know what's happening.
Dr. Martinez tells us it's important that this research continues. She says no matter how long the court case takes, she wants to come back out and keep studying the long-term impacts of the buoys. Reporting in Eagle Pass, I'm Jordan Elder.